wrestling fans of all ages, shapes, sizes, genders, and everything in between. It is time to go to war and be VicTori for the Common Wrestling Podcast. Welcome to the revolution.
Buzz guys, my name is Kate Murphy.
What's going on, everybody? This is Will Tarashuk, the founder of the Kings of the Rings podcast.
What's going on, guys? It is I, the one and only Quiet Riot himself, Zach, your host of the Young Lions Perspective.
What's up, guys? This is the Monday Night Delight.
Greetings, one and all. This is your Prime Minister speaking, your favorite Canadian, Mr. Fretz.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is NateFNGreat from the Game Changer podcast.
If you're looking for a network that keeps wrestling real, then you've come to the right place because
you're listening to...
You are listening to...
You are listening to...
You are listening...
Then you are listening.
Get ready for a war because you're listening to...
What is going on, everybody? This is King Ricky Rose, your general manager, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio. Now enjoy the show.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to change the landscape of podcasting as you know it in professional wrestling. This is the Game Changer Podcast. Featuring the greatest asset to come out of Canada, the legendary Mr. Fretz.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I love myself. There's something so condescending to the champ to get out of my ring. They think they got the answers. I change the questions. I did it all by my sweet little self. Two-time Slammy Award winner. I knew it. I'm a winner.
As well as featuring yours truly, the Game Changer, Nate the Effin' Great.
I've had it! It's time for you to start listening to somebody else, and that somebody else is going to be me, and it's going to be right now! The dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you. You're not going to come out here and talk about how it should have been you, it should have been me, it should have been you, it should have been you, it should have been you, it should have been you 8 years ago, and it was kind of, then it wasn't, and it's not going to be again, and it's not going to happen. Just get over it. I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary. Nobody can touch me.
We change the game one day at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, shed a tear because what could have been the greatness of Shinsuke Nakamura. Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am Nate the Effin' Great here, the paladin of positivity, coming back from a crazy weekend in Rockford, Illinois. Oh my gosh, so much to talk about, you guys. But before we get into that, got to introduce my co-host who reminded me, actually just told me a little bit before we even started airing, that we've reached a very huge milestone in the history of the Game Changer Podcast. This is indeed the one, the only, the Prime Minister of Canada himself, the one and only Mr. Fretz.
Hey, yo. Hey, yes, it is me, it is Mr. FRETZ, and before I waffle on here, I want to give a huge shout-out and a whole bunch of love to the Kings of the Rings podcast for their 200th episode. I already got really mushy and apparently made Kate Murphy cry during my my blurb on there, so I won't get mushy here. Cheers to you guys for 200. Congratulations. Damn good episode. It was a great trip through history. And yeah, Nate, it's also been, as of the 13th, I believe, this week, 1 year since you and I joined Wrestle Addict Radio, so we got to give a shout out to Mr. Ant himself of the 5 Second Rule podcast, hilarious by the way, and everyone on Wrestle Addict Radio. And it was also amazing to hear Dusty Dave. Love that dude.
Oh man, I've gotten so much contact with Dusty Dave, and I never grow tired of it. Ever since he and I met up at All Out last year, it definitely does feel like we have just this deeper connection of brotherhood. It's just absolutely amazing. So definitely want to second Mr. Fretz by saying shout out to the Kings of the Rings podcast. 200 episodes. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That's absolutely insane. And I'm getting notifications from my YouTube deal. Sorry if I seem a little off. It's like, oh, hey, you got a like from somebody. You got a heart from somebody. Good to know. So, definitely, like I said, huge shout out to Kings of the Rings, to King Ricky, to Willie T, as well as to Kate Murphy. Huge milestone. Also, great to hear Dusty Dave back on the show again. But he and Jeff do their own podcast every now and then, and honestly, it seems like a pretty good listen. And also, guys, it's Dusty Dave. He's awesome. Shout out to Dusty Dave. Love you, brother. You're absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. The Crossroads with former member of the Wrestle Addict Radio family, DFDC, Jeff Hamachio, Not Your Mama Soap Opera fame. And yeah, they do a damn good show on the Fourth Wall Popcast that has Bones, Doc, and Bones, Doc, and John Grill. They go by their shoot names now. That's
awesome.
And I think Wade and Heck are on there as well. So
nice.
Give a shout out to the Fourth Wall Pop Network as well. So
yeah.
They all do great work down there, and some of them were with Wrestle Addict Radio, but they're doing damn good shit down there. So cheers to them as well as I raise my nice beer here.
Definitely. So we're actually going to start off the podcast by talking a little bit about some of our experiences that we've had with Kings of the Rings. Actually, for a lot of people that don't know, that Fretz and I actually met through the Kings of the Rings podcast. We were both big fans of the show, and a lot of times they would talk about, Mr. Fretz, and they would mention this guy. I'm like, who is this person exactly? And I soon to find out he is a Canadian. He's a wrestling fan. What more do I really need to say other than that? He's absolutely amazing. And, we started talking. We started bantering about some of the dumb things that happened in, wrestling for quite a while. I think we were just starting to talk when it was still a bit hot, but also there were some parts of wrestling where it was just like, this is just stupid. This is bad. Because I think the year following in 2019 it might have been, that's when we realized, oh boy, this is gonna suck. But yeah, I had my first appearance with Kings of the Rings before I went to All In, which would turn out to be one of the best weekends of my life. But I still remember King Ricky making a comment at me when I said, like, yeah, I'm going All In. He's just like, you son of a bitch. Just a classic King Ricky attitude. And I also loved when they did do the tip of the crown deal, because two of my favorite moments in Kings of the Rings still come from the tip of the crown deal, because one was that I pissed off Ricky as he was going through hashtag tip of the crown. He was just like, I can't find any other ones because this guy, NateFNGreat, is just doing our freaking hashtag on every single tweet. And it's like, yes, I am the ultimate Punisher. And then the other one was a response to him where where I think Ricky said something about roids, and my comment was, shh, don't say roids. A wild Steiner might appear and do a no-nonsense random promo. Yeah, Willie loved it. Oh my gosh, Scott Steiner is amazing. I will remember that. Will had like one of the most memorable laughs I've ever heard, where he just like chuckled a couple of times and then he just broke down laughing, saying, "A wild Steiner might appear." Man, fuck Scott Steiner. And then another great memory was the war that we had. It was the Game Changer podcast versus Kings of the Rings. It was myself, Mr. Fretz, and our good buddy Agent Cooper, Max. Shout out to you, Max. You're absolutely amazing. Hopefully we'll get you on the Game Changer podcast sooner rather than later. We'll see. But yeah, it was against the original trio, which was Willie, Ricky, and Dusty Dave. And I just remember so many moments. I re-listened to that episode and just hearing the amount hearing the chip that Willie had on his shoulder, where he was just making it seem like, I'm the only guy that beat Nate, so you gotta step it up. It's like, yeah, somehow beating me is equivalent to beating Brock Lesnar, apparently. Or beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Ooh, still too soon. Yeah, that was still just an absolutely great episode. And the payoff was even better, where just Dave took it like a man. Ricky, he did what he could. And then Willie T was just so pissed off, he was like, okay, you know what? Double or nothing, Royal Rumble. We never did get to that point. We tried to set it up, but it wound up not happening. So maybe we're going to have to make it a yearly tradition to have Game Changer Podcast versus Kings of the Rings. So, hey, shout out to you guys, King of the Rings. Let me know. You guys want to have the epic rematch we've been waiting for? We'll bring in Max. Hey, we will incorporate Dusty Dave. We'll find a third member. We'll find the third man or woman. Just saying.
No, my stomach is not ready to take that.
Well, you can take a back seat. I'm willing to go full head. I'm ready to go full gear into this.
I do have some funky hot sauce in the fridge, and I have my friend that runs the candy store that had that Pepsi Blue. I picked up a bottle of, I don't know why, it's a novelty, Buffalo Wings soda or pop. I'm sorry, my Canadian has to be showing here. And bacon flavored and bacon flavored pop.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And going on to my things of Kings of the Rings as well, we have a great history as well. We found each other on Twitter. I think it was, I swear I might have listened to their first Money Over the Marks when Ricky made his first appearance and Dean Ambrose cashed in. But I found these wrestling fans on Twitter, and they followed me. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to start tweeting Monday Night Raw. Why not? Oh, these guys are doing a live stream on Twitter, and then that's where Will thought that I was a science teacher. And as I said in my blurb on the podcast, I almost failed my high school science because my teacher was a jerk and a pervert. But that's another story for another time.
As I stand here laughing uncomfortably.
Oh, no, not to me. This is it was way after I graduated.
Oh, that makes me laugh even more nervously.
Yeah, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course we had the Tip of the Crown, which I named.
Yes,
You're welcome, guys.
Yes, you did.
I hope that you bring it back, even if it's just for like a Patreon show, because that made me, like, Kings of the Rings and the Tip of the Crown really made me love talking about wrestling, like, on social media. Because none of my friends, I have one coworker that might listen to this podcast. Zach, if you listen to this, shout out to you.
Hey.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get him to buy some merch, but he has my web address. He has like a discount. I'm going to give him a friend's discount. But yeah, and it was through that and just interacting with them, and then it was through them I found everyone else that was on Rant with Ant at the time, like Who Got Next and Mance, and it made me really, I don't want to say it made me proud to be a wrestling fan, but it made me be more open about my social interactions with wrestling and helped me find new friends. Because, well, a lot of my IRL friends, they're married, they have kids, they moved away. Some of them might have ghosted me, but I don't care. That's their choice. I want to know why, but whatever. And it's it really made me find a sense of community I haven't found since college, because I went to a small Bible college that was kind of like, you ever seen the show Community?
I've heard of it. I've not seen an episode, but I've heard of it.
It's on Netflix now. Highly recommended.
Okay.
But we were like 90 people on campus with maybe about another 100 or 200 commuters. So we were a tight-knit little family, especially the guys on my floor. Like we're still Weidman Hall brothers, even though that residence has been demolished. And it helped me find that. It helped me find my confidence in being a wrestling fan. And then I thought, oh man, I love hearing these guys talk about it. I wonder if I could ever do this. So, lo and behold, I get on their podcast, and my episode is not very listenable because I'm, as we've done on here, I kind of struggle with either interjecting or talking or ending too early or rambling, as I've been known to do my whole life, as I'm doing right now, actually. And it was through that thing like, okay, I want to try this whole podcasting thing out. Then I think you and I both sent them like fan videos. They're not as infamous as Slacks, but they were both.
Oh my god! I remember that. I remember those videos getting sent in, and Slacks was like at least top tier. Best thing ever, because the first thing he says is like, I don't even know who you are, and they were already like, okay, stop. Don't you know who we are? Seriously? It's just shout out to Slack, just giving that gem in life. That was the greatest. If ever we felt like we were going to screw up in our our monologues or something like that, Slack is the saving grace with that, because he just had to say that one line, and it's like, okay, I don't feel as bad anymore, because we never even said that.
Oh, I said some dumb shit in my day. I understand Slack because I'm a punching bag myself, so him and I are maybe kind of kindred spirits in there, and it also helps that he's Canadian as well. I don't think he lives too far from here, so maybe a couple hours.
Oh, nice.
And it was after that, and it was just everything from there, and everything just snowballed out of control, and everything lined up and be like, okay, Fretz and Nate, join Wrestle Addict Radio. Like, yes. Because ever since I started listening to Kings of the Rings, it was weird. Once in a while, I'm not one for thinking dreams are premonitions, but I had a dream that I had a podcast before it happened. So,
yeah, I think that when it comes to like Kings of the Rings and what kind of the contribute they had for me, I think that it is definitely the eye-opening deal that they've introduced me to the wrestling community. And there's some good parts of it. No, there's a lot of good parts of it, and there's some bad parts of it. But something, you take the good, you take the bad, and then you have the facts of life. Ba-doo-doo. Sorry.
Thought you were going to go Peter Griffin. You take the good and take the bad. And there you had my opening statement. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. If you know that reference, you're officially old.
Oh, gosh. It took me a minute, but it's like, oh, that one. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, they introduced me to, Brant with Ants. I remember they said, if you go down to All In, Podcast Row, check out Rant with Ants. And, that's where I met Anthony. That's where I met Phil. That's where I met G-Rod, who were just so absolutely warm and inviting. It was just great to see them. Also met Super Kicking It with Kelsey, as well as I forgot what her co-host is, but it was just really great, getting that chance to have your eyes open to like, hey, there's more people here. And again, gotta give a shout out to Willie for letting me bunk with him during WrestleMania weekend. That was great. I think the only regret about that is that Uber was just a pain in the ass, but what do you expect at this point? No, it was still absolutely a lot of fun. It was absolutely great. So much love and much success to the Kings of the Rings podcast. Thank you guys so much for all the episodes here. For 200 episodes. Now let's see if you guys can make it to 500 episodes. That's my challenge to you. Make it all the way to 500. Hey, honestly, I'll do something if you make it to 500. I'll let you guys pick what you want me to do. That's my gift to you guys. So that's how much I believe that they're going to just continue to be absolutely amazing. They're going to keep going. Gosh. So moving on from that, I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about the weekend that I spent with Rockford. If a lot of people don't know, especially on Patreon, I've definitely posted this. I had my first, I guess you could call it, wrestling match back in quite a while. And in all honesty, guys, it was fun. It was physically draining. It was mentally draining. It was brutal at points. But in all honesty, Matt Jones, 258010, I definitely got to give the guy a shout out. He's the one that got me involved in this. And also Wyatt down there in Rockford. He basically hooked me up with Matt. Matt and I started talking. And then we finally were just saying, okay, let's make this happen. Then unfortunately, a certain Carino decided to make his way here and just block our way of making this a reality. Finally reached a point where it's like, okay, I think we're at a breaking point where it's not as bad as it was before. Let's make this happen. So finally this past weekend, we met up, we talked, and we got an absolutely, honestly, a really good matchup. And there's a lot of people have said a lot of positivity for it. People that I've known through here in Wisconsin have said it was pretty awesome. Even one of my exes, my better exes, I'll say that right now, I showed it to her and she was kind of like, wow, that's cool. The only issue is that she doesn't like seeing me get hurt. That's the only issue she has with it. It's like, it's wrestling. You're going to get hurt no matter what. Just, you got to deal with that. But, so for those of you that are looking for that video, definitely check out Matt Jones versus Nate the NateFNGreat on The Wrestling Show. It's a very entertaining matchup. People are definitely seeming to enjoy it. Got a lot of likes, got a lot of views, and I'll tell you this, that it's not going to be the last time that people are going to see me on The Wrestling Show, so it's going to be awesome.
I think I caught the tail end of the live stream, and I haven't seen it since, so I'm going to hunt it down eventually, but it sounds entertaining. It sounds kind of cool. It looked like a outdoor cinematic backyardy match, but that's right up my alley.
It is, and it's one of those things where, this guy is very smart, and he definitely knows how to make the angles look absolutely amazing. He's got people that really are very committed to making this looking really great, so that's one of the things that's probably why this is so successful. The only negative thing I think we've had about it is somebody saying, oh, well, you'd look more believable if it was in a real wrestling ring. And I will say this, that Matt had one of the best responses, which he said, well, we're not exactly like your average pros. To which I'm just like, okay, that's good. That is a good line. That is an amazing line. So hopefully that's a t-shirt. I will buy that. Average Pros is awesome. So,
Ricky, are you listening?
Oh man, if they steal Average Pros from Matt Jones, oh boy, we better give him some kind of royalty for that. The other thing that took place this past weekend was celebrating 5 years working with SoCal Val. The episode itself is just absolutely amazing. We got to talk about some of our favorite memories, about some of the things that we've enjoyed working together with, and it's absolutely amazing because, like I said before, had somebody told me 5 years ago that one of my friends was going to be a TNA knockout, I would have said, okay, what kind of crack are you smoking? I never would have believed that, but 5 years later, it's a reality. And in all honesty, she is a wonderful, tremendous person. I gotta give a shout out to God TV because the fact is that on their 5th episode, I actually make a special guest cameo for that, and it's a pretty good cameo because I basically asked them a question of three grown ass women, to Mickey James, to Victoria, as well as to Val herself. So definitely check out God TV. It's very entertaining. It's very enlightening, and in all honesty, you might see some things that you like. You might see some things that definitely are kind of eye-opening and definitely kind of good. I will say this, I'm still not going to live it down, because I said this to her, and it's still funny to me to this day, that they were talking about like blow dryers, and literally what came out of Val's mouth was, she said, oh yeah, I love a good blowjob. And I'm just like, what? Wait, what? And I literally, I had to listen to that again. I'm like, say that again? Just for me. And it just, that picture that I took, where she's in shock, Mickey's just like, oh yeah, she said that, and Lisa's just busting a gut laughing, is the best way I could describe it. That was just great. I even said to her, it's one of those things where sometimes I'll just go straight through a show, and it's totally fine. That Freudian slip made me think, I didn't just hear that. Let me repeat that again. Okay, no, that was unintentional, but that is also pretty freaking hilarious. So, definitely, she's a friend of the show. She's an absolute friend in life. Very glad to have known her, and here's going to be for 5 more years of making memories. It's going to be awesome. We're hopefully going to get a God TV and Game Changer podcast crossover. Is it going to be as chaotic as the one with me, Lisa, Melina, and Val? Probably more chaotic, to be honest. Because if you watch the show, you can see how chaotic it can get. Having me there, I think it's just. I'm probably going to be like in the same spot I was for the for that other show, where I'm literally just sitting there, just listening as this goes on, and then eventually they'll just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And it's like, no, this is great stuff. This is great stuff. I don't need to think of a question because you gals are just answering stuff that I never would have thought of asking.
That's when you just mute your mic, crack open the bubbly, and enjoy the show.
Exactly. Oh my gosh! Next time we even plan that, if we can even get that, I am going to order some bubbly because why the hell not? Let's have fun. And because bubbly is just absolutely amazing. It's just wonderful. But anyway, I digress.
Chris, bring it to Canada, please.
Fair enough.
You are a Canadian citizen, Chris, and you did not look out for us for the bubbly. What is wrong with you?
Ooh, Fretz is showing shade at Jericho. Jericho, I don't know him. I'm just waiting for him.
I want Stone Cold's effing beer in Canada, too. Like, Ricky took a picture of it, and I'm just like, oh, son of a bitch. Like, how? I have a friend who's a dual citizen who spends her winters in Florida, and every year she comes up and gets me some random beers. Like, she got me some from New Glarus, Wisconsin, actually. It was very good. Spotted Cow. Give them a shout out.
Hey, sweet.
But she's like, I never find Broken Skull, but you'll get it if I do. So
nice. Hey, yeah. you got friends that are looking out for you, as always, and it's great because you're an absolutely amazing person. You are a treasure in Canada. Saying it right now. So definitely do want to talk a little bit about 1 year. That's crazy. Just think that 1 year we decided to, take the offer that was presented to us and work with Wrestle Addict Radio. In all honesty, there's been a lot of changes since that's happened. We definitely kind of changed our format because usually we would talk about some of the current event stuff, but then we decided, you know what, let's talk about some other things that maybe other people don't talk about. We still do like the retro reviews because they can be fun, they can be awesome. Trust me, we're going to definitely be talking about more other items. Let's just say this, that next one is going to be one where they're possibly going to be taking over. Who's they? I guess we'll find out. I will say that I do love the Fretz Fave 5 is just absolutely a genius idea that you brought up. Bringing up whether it's, favorite wrestlers of African American descent, whether it's favorite wrestlers, favorite matches, favorite items, favorite movies, whatever you could think of. It's absolutely great to know these kind of things because some people don't really know you too well. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, we're looking at the page, the Book of Fretz. It's a gift. Enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely. One year ago, I'll never forget the DM I got from Ricky. I think it was a video that he started too late, or he filmed, and then I guess he forgot to when you do like a 3 or 2 minute video on Twitter and it shows you where to start. Like, one example had to be that time I ate those hot chips. They'd go good with that buffalo wing pop. Hey-o. Too bad I can't buy them anymore. And he's just like, bring Fretz and Nate to Wrestle Addict Radio, and I'm shook. And I think I texted you like a day later. It's like, hey, did you get a call from Ricky? Because I didn't know that it was the Game Changer podcast with me that was coming to the network. I thought it was the Game Changer and Fretzelmania. I'm like, oh shit, do I have to do Fretzelmania more often? All my stuff goes on my feed, by the way. Ambiguous Podcast Productions. I don't know what the website is, but yeah, that's the thing that's giving us Will's hard work on his network's paying off. But Anchor.fm/FRETZLE Mania. That's where you can get everything, including this week's 20 Bell Salute, which ironically has the pay-per-view we are talking about tonight. So you're getting a double dose of said pay-per-view. But yeah, I started looking back on the past year, and to say this past year has been up and down would be, well, accurate. I don't say an understatement because, there was a couple of times where I took a couple of weeks off because if I had family visiting or if I was away, and, there was something that Will said that completely resonated with me. It's like, I could be having the shittest week ever. There could be stuff going on, like my dad's health has been up and down for the past, to be honest, 20 years. And then I could just be all down about that. And then as soon as, the Skype call comes in and the microphone's on, like, I'm game. I'm good to go. I'm not a new person, like Will said he was, but it's like, it's something in there. But it's been a hell of a year, and I love the format change. We've had a couple of podcasts go 3 hours.
Oh, geez, that's right.
Yeah, let's not go there unless we're doing like a watch along or if it's a damn good topic. Because we packed a lot in on some of those weeks. But you know what? The conversations that we get to on and off camera are always amazing anyway. So it's worth it. We've covered a lot, and there's been a lot of retro reviews. There's going to be a lot more, just letting you guys know. But it's an honor. It truly is, and to have a guy like Ant, who is as prominent as he was in the wrestling podcasting world, to handpick us and to handpick Ricky and Will to take the reins for the network. That shows the amount of trust that he has for people to take the torch that he lit, and now we're carrying it, and it's truly an honor, and I love doing this. It's a great side hustle. It's a great hobby. A lot of people, like a lot of my friends, my family are supporting it. Like, hey, this is cool. They don't listen, but it's like, it's something for me, right?
No, definitely. It is kind of hard to tune into an episode that's entitled Johnny's Keyhole, to be fair, though.
Come on, that was good.
That was awesome. It was awesome. But, yeah, no, it has literally been quite the honor and privilege to still continue to keep that name that was created by such great people. I mean, we mentioned Ant so many times, but other people who definitely paved the way for us, like Fourth Wall WrestleCast, like Nacho Mama's Soap Opera, like Issa, MJ, Phil, all the people that have definitely come before us. And we're basically here to not only continue to keep that legacy going, but also keep it in a positive manner. And that is something that I think is one of the greatest things that we could ever do. And I think we do a damn good job of it. One of the things I've definitely heard from people is that they love the fact that we do try to keep things in a positive light, because there's so many people that have gone out complained about wrestling, about how this sucks because Cody Rhodes is TNT champion and he's a favorite and blah 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 blah. Or there isn't even people that are like, oh great, we got Jon Moxley, we got Dean Ambrose as world champion. Nobody cares. Nobody cared when he won it the first time around. It's like, I'm still enjoying Jon Moxley as champion. I'm enjoying Cody Rhodes as TNT champion. His matchup with Ricky Stark, I thought was great. Although I think that every single matchup now, every opponent that Cody has had, it's been literally who can basically look like they got killed by the Crossroads more every time. Because there's always that moment where it's just like, oh shit, this guy just got wrecked. Oh geez, he landed on his head. Okay, and this last one with Ricky Stark, I'm just like, yeah, he pulled a Slater. He pulled a Slater. He looked like he just was stuck on his head. That was brutal. But also Ricky Stark, he's going to be a future star. I'm calling that right now. So it is really cool that we can bring some positivity to the world of wrestling, because there is a lot more positive things to do, which it actually kind of does transition into something I definitely do want us to talk about, because it was heavily promoted as the greatest wrestling match ever between Edge and Randy Orton. Now, I'm going to preface this on saying this right now. I get why they tried to make it seem like it's the greatest wrestling match ever, because it's between two guys and it's supposed to help maybe Edge's confidence. But even though in interviews he said it's not helping my confidence at all. It's making me think, well, now I got to go the extra mile, where I haven't been able to do that in quite a while. With Randy Orton, yeah, he's a very gifted wrestler. There's no doubt about that. Match itself, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was one of those matches that I didn't think was going to be as good as it was, but it was kind of something that I believe you and I and all the people from the Kings of the Rings chat, including Kate, including Wolf Mama, as well as Rachel, I believe, we were basically watching this, and it's like, well, he's starting off kind of slow, and then starts picking up, and then it starts getting better and better and better, and then we see the Three Amigos, we see Rock Bottom, we see the Unprettier, which, all honesty, I like that name more than the Kill Switch. That's just me. I've always known it as the Unprettier, and I refuse to call it anything else than that. But yeah, it's one of those things where I was watching it, and it's like, okay, this is still pretty good. I mean, it doesn't really come close to matches like Shawn Michaels and Taker, or Brock and Kurt Angle in that. Well, even like whether it's a WrestleMania match or the Iron Man match, there's still a lot of matches that still kind of surpass it. But as far as like really good matches that WWE has put on in the last almost decade, I don't want to say. There might be some matches that might compete with this, but this one was pretty good. In all honesty, this was probably one of the best showings with Edge versus Orton. I'm going to go as far as to say that. If it's not the greatest wrestling match ever, it's definitely the greatest showing that we had that featured Edge versus Orton.
That was literally the only thing I watched from Backlash, and I haven't made the attempt to watch anything since, just because of all the reviews I've seen from it. Yeah, because of the stupid ninjas and Bobby Lashley and Lana. And yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
See, if this was the 90s, then it could be very highly entertaining. But in 2020, not so much.
It's supposed to be pirates versus ninjas, not friggin' Vikings and party guys versus ninjas. What were the friggin' Kabuki Warriors doing? Oh wait, Asuka was wrestling Naya. Oh, yeah. I didn't watch anything. I barely watched Raw. I watched most of NXT, but yeah, I thought the match was. At first, I'm just like, okay, this is a little boring, and I just started folding along. I was pretty scathing to it. As I was talking to, I think the only person I was talking to throughout the whole show was Kayla. Shout out to Kayla, who was she was watching Cultaholic because Wolf Baby was watching her baby sing songs. I forget what they're called. Kind of the same crap that. Oh no. Abby, my niece, it was her birthday on the weekend, turning 4. Hi, Abby. If you're listening to this, I'm sorry, Uncle Jamie said a swear, and why are you listening to me when you should be in bed?
It's fair.
Fair, yeah. So, I was home, like, okay, my laundry was done. I'm like, I'm just going to fold my laundry while I have this match on. And then it built up. I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. They break out the Impaler, a.k.a. the Kill Switch, a.k.a. the Unprettier. That's what Christian called it when he was in the Brood. So to me, it's the Impaler. Because I played a lot of WWF Attitude on the PlayStation. Yeah, and then when it built up, and then when it had near fall after near fall, and then wacky move after wacky move, and I came to the conclusion that I think that they did this is the greatest show build-up to kind of F with Dave Meltzer and, like, internet fans like you and me.
Yeah. You could have gone so many different directions, WWE, but you had to bring my favorite musical into your world. I'm not saying I hate you, but I'm definitely saying that our relationship is not going to be the same. As if that was ever the case.
They got friend zoned.
You know what? I think that's the fairest way of putting it. I think that is the best way of putting it. So thank you, Mr. Fretz. Yeah,
I live there, bro. I know it.
In all honesty, the only other match that I saw was the Drew versus Bobby match, which was good. It was very physical between the two of them. Drew looked great. Bobby looked like a beast, which he should be booked as. Yeah, and then it was a Claymore, and then it was over. It's like, hey, I will watch the WWE Network stuff just to see Drew win. I'm okay with this. Depending on who they have him drop the belt to, who knows at this point. In all honesty, I'd be totally fine if it was against Andrade, which, hey, I know sounds crazy, but at the same time, remember their history. Drew's first run as NXT champion was ended by Andrade. Sure, shoulder was wrecked, I should say, but at the same time, you can't erase that kind of history. There's a good story there. And they still put on some damn good matches. Right after WrestleMania, they decided, let's put Andrade and Drew in the ring together. It's like, yep, they still got it. I would love to see this more on pay-per-view. In all honesty, seeing El Idolo as the WWE champion, and then just Zelina Vega having that on her shoulder, ooh, that just sounds nice. I'm going to turn on my air conditioner in a totally unrelated manner. All right, so we're going to take a quick little commercial break, you guys, and then when we come back, it's time for the Retro View of the Week, which we're going to be talking about King of the Ring 2000. And to be honest, guys, I'm actually looking forward to talking about this. Except for one, oh God, just... skip that one. I tried, man, I tried. Hi, I'm NateFNGreat. You know what's really fun, you guys, is just spending some time creating wrestling moments. Whether it's being in the crowd, cutting promos, or just really kind of beating each other up with a chair or a trash can. Well, let's just say that there's a safer way to doing that without using an actual chair or a trash can. Go over to Great Minds Revolution Incorporated. My buddy Kurt has actually created a very safe and fun way to be a wrestling fan without the necessary lawsuits of basically beating each other up with real stuff. He has an inflatable chair that is really fun to just whack around, and it could also double as a little floaty for a pool. He also has the inflatable trash can, which, you guys, is really awesome because let's say maybe you don't want to use it for wrestling matches. You could use it at your barbecue, your next big tailgate party, whatever you could think of. Great Minds Revolution, Inc. They do a great job on making wrestling fun again. Proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast.
This is your pool party captain, Randy Fitzsimmons, and you're listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Pew pew!
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. Your fever dream, can't you see, getting closer. Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's the preacher and the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brink of every wall that's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you wanna go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night? Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us. I still got time. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game Changer Podcast. I am Nate, joined here by the one and the only fabulous Mr. Fretz. And it's time for us to review King of the Ring 2000, 6 years after the 94 one, which we did that one last week, correct?
Last week or the week before? 2 weeks ago, because they were in your house last week.
Oh shit, you're right. I do remember that now. Alright, so guys, we are going to be talking about King of the Ring 2000, but before we do that, it's time to go back in time, because it's the Wayback Machine. I'll be here all week. Mr. Fretz, I know that you definitely have the 20 belt salute where you definitely go a little more in depth with the Kings of the Ring matches itself. And you definitely do this wonderful deal where you talk about all the great things that came out during this time. But what can people expect? What are some things that we can expect in the year 2000?
Well, in June of 2000, for this month's 20 Bell Salute, which is out on Patreon and now also out on my personal page, anchor.fm/Fretzlemania, FRETZLEmania, I go more in depth, but I'm going to give you a couple of movies, a couple of albums, and a couple of things here. So, in movies, we had Me, Myself, and Irene with Jim Carrey and Renee Zellweger.
Oh, shit, that's right. Nice.
Very, very funny movie. I might see if it's on Netflix when we're done here. The Perfect Storm, I believe, who was in that? No, there's a Mel Gibson movie in here, but Perfect Storm is about this... it's about this hurricane that broke out inside of another bigger hurricane. Seriously, look it up. I think it took place in 1991, but just go on a Wikipedia rabbit hole, because I did. I'm a bit of a meteorology nut, so I love storm chasing, storm tracking, like Twister, like that kind of stuff. Whenever there's a severe thunderstorm or like a tornado warning and I'm at home, I'll tune into the Weather Network for a couple hours just because I like that stuff. In music, we had Wakely, my high school buddy. I gave him a shout out. I texted him specifically for this and for the 20 Bell Salute. This one's for you, Wakely. I love you, buddy. No Effects, Pump Up the Valium came out around this time. Afromance, Because I Got High, came out in June 2000. And Bon Jovi's Crush, which, yes, includes It's My Life. I go back to the 80s with Bon Jovi, but this is one of their biggest songs. It's not as good as Wanted Dead or Alive or Blaze of Glory or insert the rest of their 80s catalog here, but this was huge. There wasn't much for video games, but we had Jet Set Radio and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Sega Dreamcast. And if you remember what that is, hit me up, because I want a Dreamcast. And in the news, I don't think I got into this, but in the news we had the New Jersey Devils winning the Stanley Cup and the LA Lakers winning the NBA championship. So that's just a teaser. I do talk about WCW's Great American Bash. Oh my God, no. Mance, I want to know your secret, how you did WCW for the Gift of Podcast days. By the way, Berg, this week's Delight show with Mix, Kate Murphy, and Mance was damn good. I learned a lot about Harry Potter, and I learned a lot about transgenderism, so that's just the teaser. Fuck J.K. Rowling. Anyways, King of the Ring 2000, here we go. Oh my gosh. Before we start off here, this was a Dave's Basement pay-per-view. I've referenced this a few times with you. My buddy Dave, who had his beautiful air-conditioned basement, and to have air conditioning, central air in the year 2000, you had to be well off, so shout out to the Caustic family for that.
So, excuse me. Man, getting choked up about this. King of the Ring 2000 took place on June 25th in Boston, Massachusetts at the Fleet Center, an attendance of 17,651. That dreaded one person extra makes all the difference. First of all, I will say this, that the first couple minutes of the show already got me kind of hooked in, because the opening package was just great, where they talked about the Kings of the Ring tournament as well as the main event matchup, the 6-man tag team match for the WWE Championship. Oh, trust me, we're going to talk about that, because I know my good friend Mr. Fretz has something to say about that. But I really love these just wonderful graphic deal that they had for King of the Ring. It's just beautiful. The King of the Ring set I liked it. It's one of those things where it's like, this is where WWE definitely was creative. They had fun with their stuff. Now they're just kind of like, well, it's the same thing as, you would see on Raw. And it's like, oh, joy. Just joy of effing joys. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I already was hooked in the first couple minutes. But let's see how the rest of the show holds up, shall we? First matchup here is a quarterfinal matchup in the King of the Ring tournament featuring Rikishi taking on Chris Benoit. Now, during this matchup, Chris Benoit was able to hit a nice German suplex to Rikishi. He's able to lock in the crossface, but it is a matchup that definitely goes pretty short because Chris Benoit takes the chair, hits Rikishi with it, gets himself disqualified. Rikishi gets the win. But Benoit decides to just continue to assault Rikishi after the match is over. He does a headbutt. He locks in the crossface. He's just going absolutely bananas on Rikishi. So for the remainder of the night, the story is that Rikishi is battling with basically an injured arm. And they never say it's like separated or broken or something like that. It just says he's going in less than 100%. So, I mean, still, you're fighting Rikishi. That's going to be one of those. He's going to be one of those guys that's still going to be tough to beat. As far as opening matchup goes, I was kind of shocked that it was this short and kind of went the way it did, but does kind of set the pace for what we can expect for the rest of the night.
Yeah, a couple of things here. First off, full circle moment with Rikishi participating in the King of the Ring that we reviewed a couple of weeks ago as the Head Shrinkers. So Here we go. Take a shot of this non-alcoholic beer.
Hey!
Rikishi was the new Intercontinental Champion, having beat Chris Benoit on the SmackDown right before this event. My goodness, what a pop. Holy shit, Benoit with a German on Rikishi. Benoit, I know because of his, let's just say because Dark Side of the Ring, it's unpopular to praise, blah, blah, blah. The guy was effing powerful. I mean, if you can suplex a 400-pound man with a bit of assistance from that 400-pound man, still, that is powerful. One thing, I took a note here. I brought it up on the 20 bell. Someone holding up a sign saying, "This is not a Chris Benoit sign."
Alliteration!
Oh, that's funny. And one thing that I don't know if you noticed it, but when Chris Benoit did the diving headbutt to Rikishi, he dove over, like, the agents and the referees who were kind of below him, going like, no. So, just Shane McMahon sails right over them and manages to, land on Rikishi perfectly and not clip anyone else who was standing in the ring. So, dude had range. I'll give him props for that.
No, you're definitely right. I did actually forget about that. That was a cool moment. But Benoit's night is over because he's out. Rikishi moves on. We have a nice backstage deal where we talk about Stephanie, Shane, Vince, and Triple H are talking about this, the matchup, and basically they're telling Vince, you got to keep your cool, and Vince is like, I'm cool. I'm
Joe Cool.
Oh,
he's not cool.
Just says he's Joe Cool. Basically they're asking, is Vince going to keep his cool? Triple H is just like, no. That's literally all you need for this segment. It's just somebody saying, do you think Vince will keep his cool? Triple H just immediately, no. It reminds me of that segment in TNA where Sting is just yelling and hopping backstage with Hogan, Bischoff, Karen, and Jeff. Just say like, gosh, we gotta work together. Aren't we all on the same team? And then Hogan's just like, no. It's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, that is literally what it is. It's just, oh god, Joker Sting was the best. Just side note, but still, yeah. Basically, Vince's gonna go find. He's gonna go find his wife Linda. That's kind of what we get out of this. We go into the next quarterfinal matchup, and it is Eduardo Gori Guerrero with Mamacita China taking on Val Venus with Trish Stratus, which kind of was a head scratcher for me, but okay. I'm not gonna lie. As soon as Eddie's music hits, I'm like, is she coming? Is she coming? I see China. I'm like, yes, Mamacita. Oh my gosh, this is the best parts of both of their careers. I know some people are gonna be like, but what about his reign as WWE champion? I think that's a close second because him and China were just absolutely great. I love the skits they did. It was beautiful. It was just absolutely wonderful. Eddie Guerrero and Val Venus, pretty good matchup actually here. Already, Eddie Guerrero takes Val to the outside. He has a superplex on Val, and we also see a surfboard dragon sleeper. Holy shit. Was that just a thing of beauty? I looked at that and I thought, oh my gosh, we don't see that much anymore, but nobody else likes technical wrestling up here. It's Eddie Guerrero, damn it. It's absolutely great. Eddie gets a drop kick to the back of Val Venus while he's in the turnbuckle, which was like, ooh, that sucks. I really love when Eddie Guerrero does a roll when he knows the frog splash is not going to hit. So he's just leaps off, he rolls in the air. It's just like, oh man, Eddie, you're such a smart dude. Val Venus tries to go for the money shot, but Eddie Guerrero's just like, nope, eat my knees. They don't taste good. Eddie hits a beautiful Frankensteiner. It looked like Eddie was going to get the victory because Chyna got up on the apron, just smacks Val Venus while the referee wasn't looking. But in the end, Val Venus hits a fisherman suplex, of all things. Okay, it was a perfect plex. It could have been... he's not Mr. Perfect. A fisherman suplex by Val Venus.
Pornoplex.
Protoplex. Oh, no. Pornoplex. God dang it. Well, no, this is pre-sensual Val, so...
Post.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's post-sensual Val?
It's pre-right to censor Val, actually, by about a month.
Oh, shit. Wow. Well, then he would be known as Sean Morley. But either way, Val Venus picks up the victory here. I liked this matchup. I thought it was pretty good. It definitely had some fast-paced deal. Eddie Guerrero definitely was making Val Venus look just tremendous. Very sad to see that Chyna gets... That's the only time we get to see Chyna throughout the night. Makes me sad. But, you know something? At least in a couple months, probably, we're going to get one of the best title changes that has ever taken place on any wrestling show. It's beautiful, but... okay, you know what? I'll spoil that. So, Chyna eventually wins the Intercontinental title. There's a match, I believe, between her... I think it was Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero. It was like a triple threat match. Angle knocks out Chyna. Eddie takes out Kurt. And basically, Eddie is just taking care of Chyna, who's still knocked out. He's like an emotional wreck. He's basically just holding her close, not realizing that he's covering her for the 1, 2, 3. Eddie Guerrero becomes the new Intercontinental Champion. Eddie's reaction is just like, what? Wait, what just happened? Some people might say, like, isn't that an insult to Chyna? No, because it makes the storyline between Eddie and Chyna just that much more complicated, but also that much more entertaining, because Eddie Guerrero's a dick.
Oh, I loved that. That's going to be coming up soon on the 20 Bell Salute.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is the last time we'll see these four people, but you had Trish, Val, and TNA having their brief stable, if you were. T, A, and V. Oh, I get it. Vince, you dirty dog. So, we had two gifted technical wrestlers in Val Venus and Eddie Guerrero. And because it's the year 2000, they're chanting for tits. Being 16 at the time, I would have been chanting for them too. Anyways, that money shot to the knees spot, ouch. That Frankensteiner was amazing. These two have a fantastic chemistry and technical match. I'm going to briefly spoil, but next month at Fully Loaded, I've just started watching it actually, but Val Venus and Rikishi in a steel cage match. Oh my God, watch that match, because do you know what Rikishi does in that match?
I actually do not.
I won't spoil it then. Watch it after this, and then text me. Seriously, do it. I will not say anything more.
Okay, fair enough.
People who are listening to this on Saturday, don't tweet Nate what happened, because he might have actually watched it by now. They have a good match. The whole shenanigans, Trish Stratus getting involved and tossing around like a rag doll. It's a travesty we never got like Trish versus Chyna for the women's title, because that would have been. Imagine a few years. Imagine 2000 Chyna versus like 2003 Trish. My gosh, what could have been?
So beautiful.
The Pornoplex, because that's what WWF Attitude for the PlayStation called the. And it also called the submission move that Val did the Porno Pretzel.
Jeez Louise.
I'm like, okay, that is giving my pretzels. No. It's not doing that.
I need an adult. I need an adult.
Oh, speaking of I need an adult, Pat Patterson's looking for an outfit backstage. Next.
Oh, I didn't even mark that. I forgot about that, because there's a better segment that comes up. But yeah, Rikishi basically says he's good to go. He's good to go. Next up, we have another quarterfinal matchup, and it's Crash Holly versus Bull Buchanan. Mr. Fretz, I know how much of a big fan you are of Crash Holly. Please, by all means.
My goodness. For one thing, Bull Buchanan's theme. How can you not like that? If you're a fan of the Attitude Era podcast, Kevin Mahan and Billy Keeble, they do like a really good themselves covering it. It's really funny. I love Crash Holly so much. R.I.P. My gosh, that made me so sad. Bull Buchanan was just broken off from the Big Boss Man, because they had a brief alliance as a tag team, having matches at SummerSlam and WrestleMania against Pips R Us, D'Lo and the Godfather, and APA at Backsplash. Well, actually, Backlash 2000 is one of the best pay-per-views of that year. Oh my gosh. Bull Buchanan was a really underrated, like, agile big dude. He's like 6'6", 296 pounds. No, 6'8", 296. And then, agile big dude, can do a springboard clothesline. He became B squared, if anyone remembers that from John Cena days. It was a really quick match, but what would he could have been? He was going for his Booker T scissors kick finisher, but he missed it. And then Crash hit the Oklahoma roll and rolled up Buchanan for the quick win. And in typical Houdini of hardcore fashion, Crash just bails. He just freaks off backstage.
I like this matchup. Just Crash Holly is one of the biggest blessings that wrestling could ever be given. Whether it's his run as hardcore champion, whether it's just his matches in general, they're just absolutely wonderful. And this is one of those matches where it's like, okay, I understand why people love Crash Holly, and he's great. Very fast guy. He did like a variation into a small package that I thought was great. And you mentioned the fact that he did an Oklahoma roll. Did that so well. My God. Just Crash Holly forever. Crash Holly should have been King of the Ring, but at the same time, I understand why they did what they did. We get a backstage segment in which we have Vince talking to Linda, where Linda is basically questioning Vince McMahon's manhood. Is like, oh, are you going to have so many people just coming in and just having people, helping you out and blah, 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 blah. And Vince is like, you know what? There's going to be no interference, damn it. Because it'll be me, my son-in-law, and my son. We are going to beat The Undertaker and The Rock and that big red guy who reminds me of a Kool-Aid dude. Vince, that's
oh yeah,
that's Kane. I don't care. I'm Joe Cool, and we will win because we are the Joe Cool trio. I mean, that's roughly what he said, right?
You meddle in my affairs. You slapped your own daughter. You brought back The Undertaker. You rehired Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then sweet zombie Linda. Thank you, OSW Review. Yeah, but except it's going to be fair this time and not a 12-on-3 handicap match, which I saw. Holy shite.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Linda can act when she wants to. Despite the feelings that some people might have about Linda McMahon now, politically, whatever, this isn't a politics show. Let's sweep that under the rug. Oh, man, sometimes she's just such a zombie, but sometimes she is just so unintentionally funny. Like, when she slapped Stephanie leading up to WrestleMania 2000, and that wound up being her finisher on No Mercy, which was Stephanie going for it.
Damn it.
No block, boom, right in the face. Oh, I love Linda, especially at X7. She rises from her chair, the crowd goes nuts, and then asks Vince McMahon quietly to spread his legs open so she can sack him.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Oh man, I'm so happy because next up we have the final quarterfinal matchup. It's Kurt Angle versus Chris Jericho. I want to start off by saying that Kurt Angle is again just a gift because the first thing that he does is he just rags on every single hometown team that he could possibly have, including the Celtics and the Patriots, who, ironically enough, people are sick and tired of the Patriots.
They used to suck back then.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, those were the days.
Because I think this is like before they became like Supernova deal where they were winning like every single Super Bowl. This was just one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm going to be better than your own home team, including the Patriots. I'll think to myself as, wow, 20 years later, you're still better than the Patriots.
This was the year before Tom Brady got drafted. If you want,
nice.
If you want context,
there we go. Kurt Angle has this amazing gem of a line. I love it. It's true. I'm fat. I'm unemployed. Now bring me a beer.
Oh, shout out to Will, who's actually from Boston.
Well, to be fair, he's not fat, he's not unemployed, but we'll still bring him a beer.
I'll bring him a beer. Hell yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, that was like my line of the night from this event. That was just great. Then Chris Jericho comes out, and what does he says? He says, "Kurt, you are literally the king of the nerds, of goofy ring attire, of the 30-year-old virgins, and a royal pain in the ass." Because Chris Jericho can do anything that he damn well pleases, and it's great. Oh, man. So, we get a belly-to-belly suplex by Kurt Angle, some chops by the one and only Ayatollah of rock and roll, Chris Jericho. Awesome missile dropkick by him. And he even gets a Bulldog Lion Salt early on, but the ropes are the one thing that saved Kurt Angle. He flings Chris Jericho into the steps. Do you remember when Jericho used to do that double-armed backbreaker? It was kind of,
hey, welcome to Winnipeg, motherfucker.
Yeah, it was literally one of those things where I was like, I miss this. But these guys have some great, back and forth action between the two of them. This is just an amazing matchup. Kurt goes for the Angle Slam. Well, I mean, they called it the Olympic Slam beforehand, but I'm going to call it the Angle Slam. I don't care. But Jericho counters that into the walls. Absolutely great. It looks like Kurt Angle's about to tap out when, oh no, Stephanie McMahon, she comes out. She's distracting the referee. Kurt Angle's tapping out. Jericho's thinking, I got the win. But then, of course, Jericho sees Stephanie. Stephanie goes in the ring, and she's like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to slap Chris Jericho in the face. Why am I making her sound like a little Midwestern girl? She's basically just saying, I'm going to slap her in the face. So she goes for one slap, Jericho blocks. Goes for another, Jericho blocks. And Jericho does the most devastating move in all of wrestling today. He puts the lip lock on her. Oh my God, the inhumanity. By God, stop the match. Stop the match.
Yeah, tonsil hockey, by God.
So Kurt Angle, he hits the Angle Slam after that distraction for the 1-2-3. Kurt Angle advances on to the semifinals. This is a really good matchup. I enjoyed it. This was, as soon as I saw Chris Jericho versus Kurt Angle, I'm like, oh, we got one good match coming out of this. And I was right. This was great.
Oh, this was good. This is one of two great sports references of the night. This is for the record. I said on 20 Bell, but I despise Boston teams with every fiber in my body, especially the Bruins. Just look at their history with my Maple Leafs in the playoffs. I'm still in therapy. I'm not going to dig deep into that. That I'm fat, unemployed, and beer line was amazing. Kirk Angel, and okay, here's a funny thing. Jim Ross was talking about on commentary about it was appropriate for Jericho to slag off the Red Sox because they were defeated by my Toronto Blue Jays the day of King of the Ring 2000. Nice. In the 13th inning, Tony Bautista hits the winning home run. And no, he's not related to Jose Bautista, the bat flip guy, or Dave Bautista, the actor, because I think they all spell their name differently. Teddy was doing a really slow count a couple of times, I've noticed. And I noticed that in a lot of Teddy Long's refereed matches. It might just be his gimmick, his thing. Stephanie McMahon getting involved because, of course, and it would lead into Triple H and Chris Jericho in a Last Man Standing match at Fully Loaded. No, seriously, Fully Loaded 2000 is probably the second best pay-per-view in the entire Attitude Era, just after X7. Watch it. And then when he goes for he forces himself on another man's wife. That, my friends, is assault. Shame, Chris Jericho. Shame.
Where the pancakes? Shame. Shame.
Yeah, exactly. The Angle Slam is countered into the walls of Jericho in a nice spot. And of all people to get involved, that filthy, dirty, disgusting, brutal, bottom-feeding trash bag hoe. Okay, Stephanie and Jericho interactions were amazing, especially when they did one like years and years later, I think backstage on Raw when it was like List Jericho. Oh man, these two hated each other so much. I'm looking at them here saying, just screw already. Come on, guys. My God.
Oh man. I mean, you're not wrong. So we go to the backstage area. Shane McMahon is just mad, and Vince is just playing Joe Cool. What more do we need to say about that? Then we get into probably one of the most awkward moments of this entire deal. Not most uncomfortable. That's still later on during this. This is kind of the more awkward deals. So Mick Foley's at WWF New York, basically talking about the King of the Ring deal. Ivory, bless her heart. Oh my gosh. Ivory's just in the back. She's trying to be like the best bartender ever. And you just see her just going like, here, Mick, have a beer, have a beer. She's saying this line like 3 times. And Mick seems like she's just ignoring her. It's like, poor Ivory. If I had a beautiful woman like that just offering me a beer, I'd be like, oh, thank you. Also, here's a tip. Because she earned that money. Nothing really to say about this, because in all honesty, I think this was during the time he was commissioner, and
no, not yet. What was notable is he picked Kurt Angle.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He did do that. Yeah, honestly, not too much to really say about this. But hey, we go into the next matchup, which you liked those sports references. We got more. It's a 4-team elimination matchup for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I'm going to have Mr. Fretz talk about this one. We have Edge and Christian versus TNA versus the Hardy Boys versus the Tag Team Champions. Too Cool. Let me repeat that again. We have Edge and Christian versus TNA versus the Hardy Boys versus the Tag Team Champions. Too Cool. I'm not going to repeat that a third time because I'm already in shock that I'm even saying that.
Yeah, you can thank Kid Rock and the late, great Joe C. for Too Cool becoming the tag team champions. It was a random episode of Raw, and of all things, I think Too Cool low-blowed Edge with the hockey stick, and then I think they hit the hip-hop drop, and I guess Kid Rock was there. They might have been in if Kid Rock was there, they were probably in Detroit, and it would have been appropriate for the hockey stick, because this is when the Detroit Red Wings were absolute killers in the league instead of like the butt end of the joke of the NHL now. This is the greatest, for the benefit of those with flash photography, this is the greatest 5-second pose of all time. And me being a bit of a sports nut, not so much for baseball, so baseball nerds like Will, please bear with me. So this was what I call the Beantown photography incident. So Edge is, I believe it's Edge, is wearing a Mets jersey, and he calls this thing the best moment in Boston sports history. So I'm going to take you back to 1986. Little Mr. Fretz is 2 years old. He doesn't know what baseball is. But Bill Buckner of the New, I believe it was Bill Buckner of the, he was either of the, he was on the Red Sox. He was the first baseman, and Mookie Wilson hit just a basic line drive that the first baseman could easily catch and get the out. However, it went right through his legs, right in between his legs, and of course the announcer, if it wasn't, who was the guy from WrestleMania 4 that got choked by Andre and he was in Major League? It wasn't him, but Bob Uecker. If it wasn't Bob Uecker behind the mic, it was someone else. But it's like, it gets by, and the curse of the Bambino continues. The New York Mets win the World Series. Curse of the Bambino. Google that, kids. Will, I'm sorry. But this was the funniest thing ever because it slagged Boston. And they actually did. They recreated the bit when the ball went through the one guy's legs. They're booing the shit out of this. Because at this point in time, the curse of the Bambino was not broken. But between 2000 and now, I think the Red Sox have won like 5 World Series titles at least. Killers. Right. So we have, I break this down on 20 Val, but we have in an impressive spot, Albert presses Jeff Hardy, gorilla press over his head, and then Jeff manages to get out of it and kind of land on his feet. Trish and Lita interact in not for the first time and not for the last time. The feud began here. Like, a lot of people forget that. Lita slaps Test right in the face. Matt Hardy eats a pump handle slam. Albert, he charges into the corner, misses. Jeff hits the swanton. TNA are the first team gone. And then a whole bunch of shenanigans and miscues and what's the word? No, I think shenanigans was the word I was looking for. But boom, Impaler by Christian. A move you didn't see a lot of when Edge and Christian were a tag team, and I love that finisher. It's one of my favorites ever. The Hardys are gone, and just 5 years before this, at the often hated, the worst of the bunch, the worst King of the Ring, 95, the Hardy Boys were the 2 guards at the doors who would open up the kingly doors that you saw at 94. Yeah, at 95, I think Jeff's the younger one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was 15.
Shit.
Or 16 at the time. And he had gotten into a squash match with Scott Hall that year or the year before. They lied about their age to get on TV. That takes some balls or some stupidity. Or anyways, yeah, they go from a full circle moment here, take a shot, and they are gone from the match, leaving Edge and Christian with the champions Too Cool. But, we get more shenanigans, more, hey, whatever, referee bump, this and that. There's a hip-hop drop, there's a belt shot, and new tag team champions, my boys, Edge and Christian. This match was fun, but it was mostly fun for, I love the 5-second pose. It had debuted, I think, only a month before this at Judgment Day with the Jug Band. Because that was the first time that Edge ever uttered those famous words, for the benefit of those with flash photography, we now present to you blank, like the Jug Band, or the best moment in Boston sports history. Oh, he would go and eat those words. I loved when Boston teams sucked. I miss it so much.
Oh, man. That was just absolutely great. One of the things a couple things I'll definitely hit on as far as this goes. Lita had this, like, very pink, fuzzy bra to which my eyes are just, like, popping out of my head because the fact that they have, like, little hearts on them, like, this is beautiful. And Mr. Fretz, you cannot forget the fact that during this matchup, and honestly, I think this is quite a while that we've actually talked about this, we saw one of the greatest wrestling moves of all time, and that was the dreaded Spagingo!
Ding! Oh my god! Shout out to the Ruthless Pod.
Oh, trust me, guys, it's not the last time you'll be hearing that. There was that. We had the Lita Kinrana to Edge, which was, oh god, Lita, how you do it is just beyond me. Too Cool hitting the death sentence. For those of you that don't know, watch a little TNA. Remember AMW? No? Well, then you're not in my league of wrestling knowledge. I'm sorry. That was just great to see that. But yeah, Edge and Christian winning, it was a fun matchup. I think that's the best way of putting it. Was it the best matchup? Not exactly, but it was still one of those matches that didn't, like, suck ass as far as what we'll probably be having to encounter soon enough. But yeah, Edge and Christian are the new tag team champions. And I'm looking forward to the fact that, wait a minute, SummerSlam is just around the horizon. That would mean, wait a minute. Mr. Fretz.
Tables and ladders and chairs, oh my!
Mr. Fretz, are you saying that we should probably review something like that when SummerSlam comes around? Because it would mark the 20th anniversary of the first ever official TLC match.
Ooh. Well, it is like this pay-per-view. It will get a double dose from the 20-bell salute, but abso-freaking-lutely. SummerSlam 2000 is a pretty good show from top to bottom. Other than one match, but I'll tell you what that is. You'll probably guess what it is once you see the card.
But, yeah, so we got one of our shows for August. I'm looking forward to it. So Crash Holly's backstage. Basically, I think it was one of the reporters are asking are basically just asking him questions, and Crash is just mad because nobody believes in him. No, it's too early for that. It's too early for that. Nobody believes in him. Nobody thinks that he can win it. You gotta believe in Crash Holly. Crash Holly is just absolutely amazing. So, we go into the semifinal matchup. We have Rikishi taking on Mr. Val Venus. And to be honest, guys, I am shocked about this because they mentioned this whole deal where Val Venus and Rikishi have this just, rivalry going on where they're literally trying to kill each other. There's like no joke about it. They're literally trying to kill each other because Rikishi throws Val Venus off of the stage and he dives off after him. There's a moment where Val Venus, I think he sends Rikishi through a table, smacks him in the head with a chair. It's literally just one of those things like, oh my god, this is rough. Not in a bad way, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh my god, this is quite the rivalry. This is crazy. Mr. Fretz, please tell us what did we see in this match?
Well, we saw the shoulder injury come into play here, and Rikishi's arm has this big ass bruise on it. It looks really gross. This is a currently building feud and a future feud, which will blow over at Fully Loaded. As I said, just go on the network after this and watch it, and skip to that match. But then watch the rest of the show. This was really quick. They were working the shoulder. There was a belly-to-belly from out of nowhere, suck it RKO, and then, boom, there was that quick win for Rikishi, and then the continued storyline about the shoulder and the arm came into play here. However, this time, a chair and some stairs got involved, and Trish almost got her friggin' implants flattened with a bonsai drop here. Luckily, she did not get bonsai dropped. I believe either at this one or somewhere down the line, she finally got the stank face. But oh my goodness, these two, just watch that match. I'm not going to say what kind of match it is, but wow.
Right. All right. We have the coach backstage where he's talking to Gerald Briscoe about the matchup. And Gerald Briscoe, oh my God, this is one of those things where I'm just literally like, Gerald Briscoe is like the saving grace of this entire deal. Because Gerald Briscoe basically just talking about how he wants revenge. I think that Coach made a comment to him, and just Gerald Briscoe, he's just grabbing him. He's just like, where he's just being like pissed off at Coach, to which I'm just like, yes, this is real. This feels great.
Did we not mention what Gerald Briscoe was wearing?
He's wearing normal clothes.
Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm sorry.
Until a guy gives him a certain attire, and then Briscoe just grabs it and leaves. And we follow that up with the relaunch of the WWF.com page. And how I have it is weird commercial talking about eating. Never mind.
Pie?
Probably, but that's for another time. That's literally what my notes is. It's just like talk about eating. Never mind. Let's go on to the next matchup, the next semifinal matchup, Crash versus Kurt Angle. I have a star here, which tells me that this, ladies and gentlemen, is my favorite match of the evening. Crash Holly versus Kurt Angle. This was just... This just was a sweet cherry, apple, blackberry, just every flavor you can think of pie rolled up into one thing. I love this. We get some mat wrestling to start off. Kurt, he does a unique roll-up that I've honestly never seen. It was kind of like a schoolboy roll-up Oklahoma roll kind of combo, to which I'm just like, oh shit, that's never... I don't see people do that, really. That was really awesome. Crash Holly is able to hit a power slam. Kurt responds with a double arm suplex. We get a corner clothesline, the kitchen sink. Crash Holly with a nice reverse elbow. But then, ladies and gentlemen, we get another spaghetti goal. I'm just waiting for that just to look beautiful.
That's a horrifying snapshot.
Just it's amazing. I believe it was Crash Holly. He hits a Northern Lariat. For those of you that remember Team Canada, hey, shot to you. Hey, drinks to you. Nice missile drop kick. We're just getting near count after near count after near count. Kurt Angle, he hits the Angle Slam for the 1-2-3. Kurt's advancing to the finals to take on Rikishi. But most importantly, this was just... this match was just beautiful. I feel like my heart is just fluttering. It's beautiful.
Oh, man. Much like Owen Hart and the 1-2-3 Kid at 1994, this was a fantastic, quick match. I mean, it wasn't as quick in succession in spots as Owen and the Kid, but for this brief moment, for these 5 minutes, if that, Angle made Crash look like $1 million here. He really gave him the rub here, which made a certain moment later in the night a little bit more special. I love that Angle gave Crash the shine here, just because Crash is my boy. One of my low key faves. I think I did a podcast about him at the very start of my run, which I do not recommend listening to. The Crash Missile, which I believe what he called that missile drop kick.
Ooh.
I missed out. That Bobby Roode Northern Lariat. That was good, but at the end of the day, the better man is going on to the finals. It's true. It's damn true.
Up next, we have a little bit of a deal where we have Donald Trump and he cracks a few jokes about WWE and Vince McMahon and stuff like that. It's Donald Trump, back when he was sort of likable. Maybe we'll just say that.
No, he never was.
Okay, fair enough. Kane is backstage. He says that he is going to do whatever it takes to walk out as WWE champion, and then we get another deal where The Undertaker is basically saying the exact same thing. Basically, all hell's going to break loose when it comes to that matchup. And boy, howdy does it ever. It's great. So, for the benefit of those that, oh God, just, not since,
Excuse me.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to make this short and sweet, guys. It's the hardcore title evening gal matchup. Pat Patterson versus Gerald Briscoe. Gerald Briscoe comes out to Real American. Nobody reacts. Pat Patterson has the Moolah's theme. Okay. Matchup has nothing to it. It's boring. Crash Holly comes in, wins the title. Yeah, that's it. So, we're done with that.
Oh, excuse me. Okay. Got a shot of whiskey in. F that match.
Yep. We're not even going to talk about it. But anyway.
Offensive, bad. Homophobic, bad. Thank God for Crash Holly. Next.
The Dudley Boys. They have this table with Tori's name on it. Why would they ever have that kind of table? Well, to be fair, DX has not really been making things very easy for the Dudley Boys. So what's the Dudley Boys' easiest solution? Send people through a table, including one Miss Tori. So, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have the table dumpster match. The Dudley Boys versus DX. So, there's a unique rule set when it comes to this. So, basically, the Dudley Boys, in order for them to win, they have to send both X-Pac, Road Dogg, and Tori through a table. In order for DX to win, they have to send both Dudley Boys through a dumpster. You got that? You lost? Well, too bad. First of all, I miss Billy. I miss Billy Gunn. And obviously, one of the reasons why he wasn't here is because of the fact that he was still recovering from an injury. So, it's still very sad for me. There's a situation where I just said, suck it or F it. Because I think it was a situation where I think X-Pac was saying the two words, but I couldn't understand exactly what he was saying. Part of the match itself, it's decent. We get the what the hop to everybody. Gives it to the X-Pac. Gives it to the Road Dogg. Then we get to Tori, and oh boy howdy, this is we were talking a little bit about the WWF.com relaunch deal. Devon, he goes in, bam, hits down Tori, and I'm going to say this right now. He takes a sweet old time leaving the sweet area of Tori, in theory. DX, they throw the DX throw the Dudleys in the dumpsters, but the referees are out of range, so they're basically saying, hey, we got them in the dumpster. But the Dudley Boys notice the fact that there are two side panels, so they sneak out and go underneath the ring to get that all, to basically be like, nope, we're not in there. The doors open and everybody's just like, well, where'd they go? Which way did they go, Doc? Which way did they go? We get Dudley Boys just beating everybody up. They have like a huge stack full of tables on the outside. Out goes Road Dogg, and then we see another table set up, and 3D. There goes the X-Pac, and then there was one. Bubba is just staring at Tori, and I said this. It's the best thing. Just seeing the face of Bubba being like, "Yep, you're going through next. You're going through a table next." But unfortunately, those dastardly rapscallions, Pac and Road Dogg, just decide to get on in because apparently the referees can't send them back because reasons. Pac and Dog, they send them into the dumpster. Boom, match is over. DX wins, but both of them eat a nice 3D until, again, all that's left is Tori. And then Tori goes through a table. It's great. It's beautiful. I don't know. I think that not since Dixie Carter have I been more pleased to see a woman go through a table. But that's just me.
This match was kind of fun, but it also gave us a little bit of Run DMC. Yeah.
Take generation, do you rock what? You did your rock cool? You did your rock what?
Generation X. Yeah. God rest one of the members of that band's souls, but WWF Aggression sucked ass. It was like rap covers of. You can tell I'm not a big rap fan. If you watch WCW in the late 90s, you remember the Rapper's Crap by the West Texas Rednecks, Kurt Hennig, Bobby Duncombe Jr., and Barry Windham. Only two of those people are from Texas. Virgil was in that stable. Anyways, the headbutt here was actually, it was pre-Was Up. I believe that the Budweiser commercials for Was Up, I think, had just aired, or maybe the Dudley Boys weren't capitalizing on their popularity. Devon taking his sweet time down there, and Jerry Lawler with a really creepy line, "Oh, let me go rub that boo-boo." What? Wow, King. Wow. There's a really nice, cool camera in the trash bin. Dudley Boys escaping from the doors. Get the tables. Get the tables. X-Pac eats a really nice superplex. Road Dogg crashed through 2 tables at ringside. Just powerbombed right through him. Tori gets the superbomb, and despite the fact that DX won their match and won this feud, DX and the Dudley Boys had a tables match at Judgment Day. Listen to the 20 bell swoop for that cheap plug. And DX won that match too. But it's okay because Bubba got to put a woman through a table, so he got his heat back. It's okay. It's all good. And one great line from JR at the end of this: "Someone give him a smoke."
He always does make it look like he just had like the best sex of his entire life after putting somebody through a table, especially if it's a woman.
Hey, that's his kink, man.
Well. Hey, she got a taste of his wood. Bazinga!
So did Mae Young. Hey-o!
Oh. Good one.
And she said to Bubba, it's like, "I swear to God, if you go gentle on me, I will kick your ass backstage. Put me through that table hard." And now that just made it worse.
Oh, Mae Young. We love you. Angle, he basically vows that he's going to win, and Rikishi makes this, like, Captain America comment. I'm not in the same Captain America like the Marvel one, but he's just like, oh, he thinks that he's Captain of America, and blah blah blah, that kind of deal. If Rikishi was making fun of Captain America, then I'm glad that whatever happens to him happens to him. Which is the tournament finals. We have Kurt Angle taking on Rikishi. Mr. Fretz, take it away.
This was a pretty quick match. I love that Kurt Angle was like, "And I'm going to kick your butt," pardon my French. Back when Kurt Angle was so sweet and innocent and not talking about wanting to have bestiality sex with Charmel. Pure innocent Kurt Angle is so sweet and so lovable.
I'm imagining him with milk. That's all I'm thinking right now. Him with milk. I'm all happy.
The milk truck. I can't wait till I get to talk about that. Oh no, next year I'm talking about Invasion. Oh. Yeah, that's a fantasy book that's a fantasy book podcast, by the way. Stinkface, nope. Low blow, nice clothesline by Rikishi. And there's one neat little thing for longtime fans of the WWE or insane geeks like myself. Rikishi hit his former finisher, the running diamond cutter from the corner. Now, after the head shrinkers, Rikishi had a short-lived gimmick as he just called him Fatu, Make a Difference Fatu. It was basically a say no to drugs PSA in the ring. And the running diamond cutter was his finisher. Yes, I'm a geek. Eat it. There's a really nice one-armed Samoan drop because, of course, they're working his injured shoulder, which is just discolored and disgusting by this point. Hope spot, one-armed Samoan drop, stink-faced, Kurt Angle hits the Olympic Slam. This is it. It's over. No, 2 count. Rikishi is still in this, and we're like, okay, Kish has a chance. I'm watching this pay-per-view. I'm thinking, I picked Kurt Angle, I think, from the get-go, but there was a small party, and I was like, no way, Kish is going to do it, but what would King Rikishi look like? Now, that's something I want to envision, and I can't, because it won't cover that big ass. So you have Kish goes to the top rope. No, there is no way that Fatu is going to hit the head shrinker splash. Because he's a little bit heavier than he was when he was in the head shrinkers. Like, no, this will kill Kurt Angle. But Kurt Angle crushes him and hits a Brett's rope, second rope. Thank you, OSW Review. Again, belly-to-belly suplex and the coronation for King Kurt Angle takes place the next night on Raw. Damn it! But it was a great coronation.
that is a bit of a bummer, because you would think that they would just do the coronation, right then and there, but nope, we gotta make it something for Monday Night Raw, I guess. Fine. We go into to Vince, Shane, and Trips, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna win. It's like, we're gonna win. It's gonna be amazing. Shit. And then Triple H is just like, Dad, the problem is that just 3 of us versus a dead guy, a red guy, a guy who he thinks he's a rock. The Trips, don't worry about it. And then Shane's just standing there just like, I'm here. It's kind of like the kid from The Simpsons. I'm in danger. And that is...
I'm in danger! Ralph Wiggum.
Oh, man. Yeah, Shane McMahon is the Ralph Wiggum of this matchup, because it's the 6-man tag team matchup for the WWE Championship. The Rock, The Undertaker, and Kane versus the McMahons and champion Triple H. Now, the reason why this matchup is happening is because Rock, Undertaker, and Kane, they all want a shot at Triple H's title. But then Vince is just like... But then Linda's like, you know what? We're going to have a 6-man tag team matchup. And then Vince is just like, we'll put the title on the wear the confident, damn it. And it's just like, well, shit. But before we get into this matchup, Mr. Fretz, your thoughts on just this matchup entirely?
Well, okay, this is a stipulation. 6-person tag team match. The winner of the fall is the champion. Now, that's stupid enough, but if you go back to Judgment Day, The Rock and Triple H had an Iron Man match. One of the most boring Iron Man matches I've ever... Okay, I don't like Iron Man matches, period. Maybe except for Brock and Angle on SmackDown. That was fun, because at least we had a bit of commercial interlude, and it was easy to watch at the time. But this one dragged. And at the very end of the match, it was tied, I think, 5-5. And this is where The Undertaker made his return as the American Badass. With seconds left in the match, he chokeslammed Triple H, resulting in Triple H winning the title via disqualification. Okay, that alone, strike one. Fool me once, strike one. fool me twice, strike 3. If you get that reference, you're the best. The Office. Michael Scott. Of course, it's Michael Scott. So, this is convoluted enough. Like, technically, if Vince or Shane took the fall, could they not have won the title? But Undertaker and Kane are going for the title. The Rock's going for the title. They all want to go for the belt. Why they went with this stipulation is beyond me. I think it's kind of stupid. And right away here, I'm going to give you an unpopular opinion.
Okay.
My time theme, better than the game.
You know what? That
mic drop.
You know, to be fair, you and Val share that same exact opinion because she loves that theme song. So, so you guys.
I love Motorhead, but man,
my time definitely does have a bit more of a better beat to it, a better rhythm to it. Now compared to that to Motorhead, I think I'm gonna have to really think about that one because, to be honest, there's still part of me that loves the Motorhead theme song because that was what got me into wrestling a little bit, but also my time is just rocking, and it just made Triple H sound like he was a bit of a killer. But I don't know. Again, maybe we'll have to revisit this discussion later on because we got to talk about the main event. So early on, we get Shane versus Kane. And what would you expect from these two? Well, Kane basically just decides to kill Shane. Enough said. Rock gets in. He's just punching away on Shane and Vince because, yeah, why not? Then we see Triple H and Shane. They attack The Rock to get the advantage. And basically, it's a situation where Rock is taking a lot of the abuse. Rock, he's getting beat down, but then he tosses Shane, and this is where we see a little bit of the tension between the teams, mainly Team Babyface, quote unquote. Taker tags out The Rock. He does that forceful tag to him. Taker's in. Rock's just like, "You serious, bro? Fine, screw it." So, one thing I definitely noticed about this matchup is that there's like one turnbuckle of that entire ring is getting like all the attention. It's like the bottom left turnbuckle. There were so many points where they were just moving them over there to do like punches in the corner or kicks in the corner or something like that. They always just move to that specific corner, and it's one of those things where it's like, huh, never in my life have I ever seen all this attention on one turnbuckle. I'm not against it. It's just one of those things where it's like, this is new. Kind of makes it interesting. Undertaker, he hits Shane with a one-arm chokeslam. 1, 2. The Rock breaks up the pin. What? But you could have won the matchup, though. And Triple H, he gets a tag, but he starts beating down on the Undertaker. Taker, he fights back with a little help of a Spagingo.
Ding!
He hits a big boot for a 2 count. Undertaker, he goes with that rockin' DDT that he likes to do. 1, 2. This time, Kane interrupts the pinfall attempt. It's like, oh crap. So Rock, he finally gets in the matchup, but he gets triple teamed by all 3 men until we see Kane and Taker. They come in. Triple H, seemingly early on during this matchup, hits a pedigree on The Rock. 1, 2, 3? Question mark? Because it looked like what was supposed to happen, at least from what commentary told me, was that Taker was supposed to break that up. But it looks like Rock got his shoulder up. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, huh, this was a bit of a weird cluster mess. Rock, he could have gone in to tag in Kane or The Undertaker. But Rock, he's showing that he's just too proud. He's like, I want this title. I want this deal. So he gets in. He gets rocked by the heels. He's just getting wrecked here. Kane and Taker seemingly take out Shane McMahon and Vince. It looks like the Brothers of Destruction are on the same page. But lo, hark! Kane grabs The Undertaker and just decides to take him out. Then he grabs The Rock and choke slams him in the center of the ring. And Triple H is just like, yeah, buddy, way to go, way to go. It seems like they're just really good buddies. And next thing you know, Kane's just like, you just touched me. Okay. Picks him up, tombstones Triple H. And it seems like apparently Kane is going to pick up the victory, but then Taker's like, nope, I'm taking you out. Boom, boom, beats down on Kane, takes him seemingly out of the matchup. And then we see quite possibly what could have been the death of Shane McMahon. Because Shane, he's going up to the top, but Undertaker's just like, yeah, you're coming down, but I'm bringing you down. He hits Shane McMahon with a super choke slam through the announce table. And oh, dear Lord Almighty, did Shane look like he died. Vince, he gets in the ring for possibly the only third time in the matchup, stuff like that. It was not that much. So he's thinking, I'm going to do the people's elbow, damn it. Here I go. Off one rope, then go to the other side, and on the other rope, I'm got him. Oh, crap. Rock hits the rock bottom. 1, 2, 3. Rock, Undertaker, and Kane win. But really, in the end, The Rock wins the WWE Championship. Rock is the new champion. And bottom line, this was a bit of a chaotic matchup. I wouldn't say it's a dumpster fire, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, there's good moments in here. It just was maybe a little too chaotic at times.
Yeah, it was kind of a schmoz, but I really loved that super chokeslam to the outside spot. That was one of my favorite moves to hit on SmackDown 2, Know Your Role for the PlayStation 1. Oh man, I'm talking all about all the wrestling games from this time because they were so friggin' good. There was a whole bunch of dissension amongst everybody because everybody wanted to be the WWE champion. And if I could take you back briefly just for a second on the way back machine, Sunday Night Heat at the time I think was airing on MTV, or if you're in Canada, Slack, Much Music. And there were highlight packages done to current songs of the time through like the week of wrestling. So let's just say May, there was a week in May where they did highlight packs to American Badass. And I always remember this one spot where, Kid Rock goes, hey, hey, and it's Kane hitting a chokeslam on Triple H to the beat of, hey, hey. Kind of a funny visual there. Yeah. Brothers don't fight. Brothers gotta hug. Another reference, if you get it, I owe you a Coke. I'll tell you later. That pedigree spot, Shane dancing and then running right into a punch from, I think, Taker. Comic gold. I mean, the McMahons, despite your feelings on the McMahons in ring, they know how to sell. They know how to make comedy, especially Shane. Like, cowering Shane McMahon, or even, like, best in the world Shane McMahon. Mwah. Just magnifique. We have a tombstone for Triple H, but nope, Taker denies that. That's when we see that super swinging chokeslam through the table. Rock pins Vince, and I told you this. The next night on Raw, Vince McMahon decides to take a hiatus from the WWE. Because, I want to go home and be the genetic jackhammer. Linda, Daddy's coming home. And I think it was implied that Vince was going to sire a child. I don't know if he was going to go home and have amazing sex with Linda, or if it was implied that he was going to sire another child. But here's the thing. Linda was probably 10 years past menopause at this point in time. So, yeah. And the facial reactions of the crowd are probably the same facial reactions to Mae Young going, I'm pregnant!
Oh, God.
Yeah. I covered that already. This is chaos. This was a schmoz, but you know what? Despite the fact that I don't like when titles are on the line in, say, like, you remember that Baron Corbin, Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins, or whatever matchup? Yeah, I don't like that. That's just me. If it's a multi-person match and the title's on the line, it better be Hell in the Cell, or Elimination Chamber, or Fatal 4-Way, or Triple, whatever. But, yeah, this was classic Attitude Era schmoz with McMahon's and The Rock and Triple H. Kind of bummed that, Triple H wasn't pinned to lose the title, but this is also intended to make him look strong going into the summer, because SummerSlam and then, Triple H from here on out and the title from here on out, it's been hot potatoed. I mean, you had Backlash, Judgment Day, King of the Ring. Okay, now Rock's going to be the champion for a few months, so we can calm that down. But the title picture is still awesome. The McMahons, I love Attitude Era McMahons. They're just comic gold. And when they eventually get their comeuppance, case in point, Vince McMahon at X7, it just, the stories are just perfect. I do like that.
So overall, King of the Ring 2000, it's a pretty good show. Other than that one little, crap stain in the middle of the show.
Literally.
It was good. It was definitely a good show. I would watch this over current day Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I actually have the DVD on my wrestling shelf just to the right of where I'm sitting right now. Aside from having it on the network, this one was really enjoyable. The one thing that I got bummed is on the network they dubbed over American Badass with "You've done it now." But yeah, watch ECW on the network. You'll get all of those terrible unlicensed songs.
Yay.
Even 1980s NWA. Like, this isn't the Midnight Express's theme. Come on, guys.
Man, cannot cut a break. All right, guys, so we're going to wrap up this edition of the Game Changer Podcast. Thank you so much for listening into our review, as well as us talking about just the fact that we have been blessed by so many great people, as well as by another great year of wrestling, whether it is with WWE or whether it's not. There is other options that you can definitely enjoy. Now, with that being said, let's do the cheap plugs. Ladies and gentlemen, you can check myself on Twitter at RealLifeInGame, and you can check out the one and only Mr. Fretz on the Twitter at the legendary JF. You can check out all of our other great members of the family at WrestleAct Radio's Twitter page at Addict_Wrestle. Check out the Kings of the Rings, where they're celebrating their 200th episode. Check out the Young Lions perspective, because Zach is awesome. Definitely check out our Instagram, as well as check out our t-shirt stores, where right now, you guys, we are still continuing our support for Pride Month. All the proceeds will be going to the Trevor Project. It is still just an absolutely wonderful organization. Definitely check them out. Check out our merch and find out how you can make a difference in somebody else's life. And trust me, everybody deserves a chance at making a difference. And everybody deserves a chance at making an impact on life.
Yeah, absolutely. The Trevor Project, crisis intervention for LGBTQIA youth under 25. Consider supporting this. It is on our merch page with our regular merch, so it would be awesome if you'd help support. Trevor Project is a fantastic charity, and they've given us the shout out and the blessing to go with this. So maybe, hey, you know what? Every Pride Month, that would be something great. I've learned a lot about certain things about Pride Month and the LGBTQIA plus community from our resident non-binary B, Kate Murphy. So thank you for that. I always want to be on the right side of history, know the right thing to say. Yes, follow us on that. Go to our Teespring store, grab some of our merch, and join our Patreon, where you'll get things like Love and War, Fretz's Fave 5, The Secret Files with Zach, the 20 Bell Salute, which actually dropped this week. And I got to give a special shout out again. Congratulations, Kings of the Rings podcast on 200 episodes. Thank you for being instrumental in not only my life as a wrestling fan, but as a podcaster, and more importantly, as a great friend. So, cheers to that, and of course, those wrestling girls and ruthless aggression. and everyone else on the Wrestle Addict Radio Network. Cheers to all y'all. Keep up the great work.
Definitely. Those that are in the wrestling community, those that are not in the wrestling community, thank you so much for listening in. And thank you so much for being a positive difference in this role right now. And I'll tell you guys right now that I am working on a special project for Patreon that I will hopefully have ready by August. So I might make the announcement at the start of July. And definitely tune in. If you want to find out what that is, you definitely need to go to our Patreon page. Become a backer. It's only $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 just to be a Patreon backer. So definitely check that out, you guys. Check out all the great things that Fretz has talked about. And remember, take it one day at a time and know that you can make a difference. For Mr. Fretz, I've been Nate the Effing Great. This has been the Game Changer Podcast. We will see you guys later, because this is the greatest show, better than the greatest wrestling match ever. Just saying.
Hey-yo.
Blue pants. Blue pants. Blue pants.
Blue pants.